Hi, everyone. I'm Joe LaGilia, and on this episode of Not Your Average Joe, powered by Mortgage Message, we're talking to Olivia Hogan of the Purple Project. Hi, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Not Your Average Joe, powered by Mortgage Message. My name is Joe LaGilia, and today I'm joined with Olivia Hogan of the Purple Project. Olivia, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Doing so good. Just to start off the interview, if you can, please introduce who you are and what you do.
My name's Olivia Hogan. I am currently an emergency room nurse working. That's pretty much it.
Wonderful. And let's talk about, kind of get into where the Purple Project comes in to your life. And I think I'd like to start with one of the things that, this show is about highlighting real community heroes. And something about your story that touched all of us when we heard about it is your advocacy of going into high schools and talking to students about domestic violence. If you can, to start the interview, just kind of talk about where that mission came from.
So 9 years ago, my best friend Alicia was murdered, and her mom started the Purple Project. This is in memory of her. We were doing things for her voice. I felt like something that I could do for the people around was talk to high schoolers. We were really young when all of this started to transpire, and there was a lot of things that we should have seen and red flags that maybe could have helped us prevent a situation. So I saw that as my part of the Purple Project mission was just to go reach out to these younger people and explain different things that I saw in hindsight that hopefully would help them if they're in that situation currently. So that's kind of where I tied myself to the Purple Project.
Yeah, just amazing. We know that the statistics of domestic violence continue to be on the rise. And I guess one of the things I want to ask first is just incredibly bold to be in front of these students and to try to get them as early as possible with the awareness that you spoke about of these red flags that exist and can be seen early. What's some of the main messaging that you share when you are in front of a group of high school students?
I think the biggest things that I like to point out is even if it's a workplace relationship, if it's a personal relationship, there's different things that you shouldn't be taken advantage of in a relationship. Nobody should be able to disrespect you or talk down to you, especially like in Alicia's case for a workplace setting. As an authority figure, you can still have authority, but she'll still show respect for a person. And I feel like that's kind of some things that we didn't see or that we noticed but didn't think it was such a big deal when in actuality those things can be a big deal. So those are kind of the main points that I want to point out is although somebody should be an authority figure or somebody who has respect for you, you still have to stand your own ground and make sure that you are not being taken advantage of and that you're not being disrespected.
Yeah, looking back at the incredible events that have occurred in your life and in so many's life with the loss of Alicia, if you can, kind of talk about how when you speak to these younger students about trying to discern the difference between a quote-unquote authority figure compared to something that is unacceptable behavior and the gray area that lies in between. What's some of the takeaways or what's some of the things that people in a very practical sense can be looking for, especially if there's parents or younger people who are watching this interview right now?
I guess the biggest thing there is a fine line, right? So we're taught as younger kids that we always have to respect authority figures, especially in a job setting. You need to go to work, you have to do your job. But when someone's speaking to you, they also have to speak to you with respect. So if somebody's speaking down to you, calling you names, sending you text messages, wondering where you're at all times, those kind of things, that's not something that a boss needs to know about. So I try to discern between when you're at work, you have to do your job, but you still have to be respected. So if you feel like you're being disrespected, it's important for me to portray to these students, you have to go talk to somebody. If you feel uncomfortable, talk to somebody. See if maybe you're reading the situation wrong or maybe you're not and maybe you just don't understand the situation, but never be afraid to speak out to somebody if you're feeling like something isn't right. Don't just brush it under the rug. I feel like that was something that I saw in hindsight that we did a lot when we were younger. Oh, that was kind of weird, and we just kind of pushed it off like it was nothing. When in turn, maybe we should have spoken up and like, hey, we can go to Sherry, Alicia's mom, or go to my parents or a teacher or something just to run this by them. Is this something that is normal? Something I wish we would have done that we didn't really do. So I really like to make sure that people know if you feel uncomfortable, then you should talk to somebody. But there's always has to be a mutual respect between any authority figure and a worker or any boyfriend and girlfriend. There has to be a mutual respect between people.
Absolutely. As a parent myself of two young kids, this is a conversation that's very heavy. It's very heavy because as we are trying to keep our hand of protection on our children, we realize that they enter into this world, and we do have to educate them when they are on their own, and we can't be there for them in that moment. So it's just an amazing mission. And I always like to say that a lot of times we choose missions, but most of the time missions choose us, which is certainly the case for you. When you think of and reflect on the last 9 years being a part of the Purple Project, what's some of the incredible shares that you would like to surface here in this interview of things that you've seen that have had such a positive effect through this journey with the Purple Project?
There's so many things. I mean, it's wild to think that it's been 9 years. It's been a crazy 9 years. It's been long, but we've, helped mothers with babies. The talks that we've done at high schools, I actually got to read like some of the responses that you get from these kids, and seeing those responses and hearing how it affected them and how they actually listened. It's such a big deal to feel like that made a difference with somebody. I've seen the work that Sherry does with grieving parents, and it's just, we've really made an impact. Even if it's a small number of people, those people really needed what we're doing. And we're doing so many different things for different people who don't have those things. I don't feel like there's a lot of things for single moms, or there's a lot of things for grieving parents, or there's a lot of people who are talking about these topics in high schools. So I feel like us making just a small impact in such a big way has really been awesome to see.
Yeah, just amazing. When you do come encounter with someone who has been through comparable to what you have been through and Alicia's family's been through, what's some of the immediate conversations that you would have with someone, maybe even someone watching right now, as far as them beginning their journey of recovery from an event such as that?
I don't know if I'm number one to give advice on it because it took me a while. But I think that would be a number one advice. It does take a while. It doesn't just happen. You're not just going to heal right away. I sought therapy and counseling and went that route for a really long time, and I still continue to do it because I feel like it's not something that just ever goes away. This is a part of my life, and it's a part of who I am now. So the biggest thing is recognizing that it's okay to feel sad. It's okay to be upset. It's going to take some time for you to move through every emotion of what's going on. But for me, I've been talking about it, and this is helpful to me, is speaking about it and continuing to talk about it just helps so much to kind of bring the realness and reality to the situation, because for so long it just felt like it wasn't real and this could never happen to me. So talking about it and making it real is a really big step.
Incredible. Olivia, is someone watching this right now, for any reason that they're wanting to join and champion this Purple Project, maybe talk about maybe some things that are coming up, or how someone can get involved and get connected.
So you can always check out the Purple Project website, but the biggest event that they've been doing every year since she passed, at least the last 7 years, I think, is the Night of Hope. So they normally do it every night. On August 19th was the night that Alicia passed. So they've been doing it every night. They've have a speaker come in. It's a free event just to speak about their journey and their grief and how they came through it, and just very positive stories. So this year they're doing it at the end of September. And like I said, it's a free event. You get to go. And this year Sherry's actually going to finally tell her story about her process and her grief and her journey through this whole thing. So it should be a really great event. But they do it in remembrance of Alicia's life.
Yeah, we're excited. The Not Your Average Joe crew will be there to definitely support this. And we can't lift up and support you, Sherry, the Purple Project enough. We're just so grateful for you being a real community hero and getting this message out and looking towards taking tragedy and turning it into triumph. We are so grateful for you in our community. So thank you.
Thank you.
Absolutely. And thank you to our audience for tuning in to another episode of Not Your Average Joe, powered by Mortgage Message. We'll see you next week, everyone. Take care.
name's Olivia Hogan. I'm part of the Purple Project. I was just a guest on Not Your Average Joe's podcast. If you know of any local community heroes, we would love to hear their story.